Okay, so welcome to episode 6 of our
Yay!
little podcast here. And today we are joined from.
Who are you and tell us about yourself?
Monique Tunender. I am a mom of three, and I am getting married this next year.
Yes.
My fiance, Luke, he's been kind of my crew person. I don't know if voluntary or involuntary, but he's been helping me with that. I got into, I guess, running when I was in the Army, and I couldn't run fast anymore, so I decided running far was my next hard thing, which turns out that's harder than running fast. So, yeah,
It
I
is.
really enjoy that.
And first off, let me say thank you for your service. That's very important.
Yes.
Yes. And number two, yeah, we all know that you're engaged, but I'm just curious if anybody else would like to comment. If they're not on Ultra Sign Up, are they a real person?
No, he's definitely a real person, and he will be there this or in June is the plan. So we'll both be there since I can't. I won't be participating, but I will be pacing some. So that's exciting.
All right.
All right, so you ready to get down to this race that we don't know about?
Yes.
Yes.
I just have
Okay.
Okay.
to try not to spill the beans because I'm terrible at keeping secrets sometimes. Okay.
Okay, so I'll take the first half, which is all about the numbers, time,
Okay.
and cost. So your running time for this race, how much was that?
The total time I spent running was 45 hours.
45 hours, all right. And how much travel time did you have?
Travel time was 8 hours.
Oh, that's good. That's good. You spent 84% of your time running.
Pretty
It's,
much. It didn't seem possible, but mind
you,
over matter for sure.
yeah, well, you want that number to be high, right? It would be sad if you spend more time driving to and from the race than actually running it.
Right? That
Yeah,
feels like it would have been a almost a waste of time if I didn't have more hours on my feet than travel.
exactly, yeah. So how much was the race fee?
$225.
All right, that's a nice cheap race. And what was how much time do you spend on the travel, like gas and stuff?
Uh, it might have been around 200 is kind of what I was thinking. Because I didn't spend a whole lot. I kind of went into it just going. I was like, we got this. Like trying to be careful with my answers because I'm afraid I'll like give it away.
Okay, uh, so how much did you spend on nutrition for the race, or did you just go with the aid station?
So I mostly went with the aid station in all of the races I've done so far. So, but I did do about $200 because I had ordered some gel packs and stuff. I found I really like the Hammer Nutrition ones that you guys have me do or had me try. So I really like those. And then I ordered these little waffle things. They were pretty good too. But yeah, I ate mostly aid station food. So
All right. And what about shoes?
I
Did you?
spent $140.
What kind were they?
I get the New Balance 860s, but I have to get wide. Otherwise, I get like a blister on my, let's see, it'd be my left pinky toe. Every time, never fails if I don't go with wide.
And then finally the essentials.
About $100.
Okay, what essentials did you buy?
So I mainly just went with like those Band-Aids for blisters and then some moleskin. I didn't do really good with my essentials. I learned a lot during my this journey into ultra running. I'm like, oh, I was not prepared for that. So that was probably a not great part of the race.
Well, that's
Everybody's
the
always helpful though.
That's the thing about ultra running. It's a learning curve. You
Yeah.
never go to your first race
Mm-mm.
and nail it the first time.
Mm-mm.
And as much as everyone gives you advice, it's very individual. What works for one person doesn't necessarily work for another.
Yes. Yes,
So
that is something I learned really quickly. And the thing that I loved was that learning curve because each time there's a new lesson, which I I think is part of the best part of ultra running. Like it's not you just run fast and you're over. Like okay, well I did my race and now I'm done. It's like ooh, how do I overcome this like hard thing in the moment? And you don't really know what it's like until you do it. Because I
Right.
thought, oh, I'm prepared, I'm good. And I was not.
Oh, it doesn't
I
work like
was
that.
I was not prepared, not even nope. If it
No.
wasn't for the aid station people, I would have not survived any of that first part. So I would have quit probably sooner.
yeah,
Been there.
oh yeah. So was this a timed race or was it a fixed distance race? Like,
See, this is where you're gonna get me. It was a timed race.
okay. So we don't care about if this was 45 hours or 48 hours or 72 hours. So all we care about is what was your mileage?
I hit 83.7 miles.
80. Oh, that was very accurate.
Yeah, that is.
And what
I
was your
had to
goal?
look it up. I had to look it up. I wrote notes.
Ultra sign
Uh,
up.
yep,
What was your goal mileage on this one?
100.
100. Okay, you almost got there.
Yeah.
If it
Okay.
wasn't for Katie Price, that last little bit wouldn't have been easy. Ah, dang it. See? I failed.
Okay, so your score is 0.45. And this is an interesting one because if you hit your goal, your score is zero point 0.5 because I try to keep it under 1. So this is not bad at all. You almost got there. And overall, your return on investment is 0.52.
Okay.
That's not bad. It's not bad. Now, you are going to take over the fun
The
stuff.
fun stuff.
Yay. I
So
feel
you,
like I've already told on myself.
well, I'm pretending you didn't. I'm pretending I know nothing. I'm pretending I wasn't camped out next to you. So, who are you
Ah, jeez.
again? And it's okay. Um, so, how would you rate the aid station?
A 10.
A
A
10.
10.
Why?
Motivational. They were when I came to the aid station, sometimes I was great and sometimes I was not. And when I was not, or when I was great, they still pushed me forward. And they always had what I needed. Even if it was just that like, hey, keep going. Or, I think the aid station, like just in general, aid station, like workers, people, they are what really help support the race. So that's why even though I'm going to be down and out a little bit this year, I'm excited to support other runners because you just can't do it without them. Like that is the
Right.
one thing I realized, in the last several times I've ran because I've done a few independent runs by myself um, that were pretty long. I mean, I had one that was I think 34 miles that I did by myself with just going to gas stations and then my dad and you just it's different. It's different. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, they were amazing. Like all the races I've done, they've been amazing. Yes, I appreciated them.
We love them. There is nothing better than a volunteer out there. Yep. So, how about the fun factor? What did you rate your fun factor?
I put 10, but like I was conflicted because there were moments where it was awesome and there was moments where I just wanted to lay in the road and let the animals like eat my carcass. So I just I was like, I even seen um I see I've seen several people that were just barely moving, and I'm like, "I'm right there with you." And it's in those moments that they usually help push you even when they're hurting, but I it was fun. It was fun. Even in the moments of pain, it was still fun, which sounds
Yeah.
kinda strange, but you
No,
guys understand.
so I'm
Yes.
guessing this is one of those races when you look back and say, "Oh, I'm going to do it again."
Yep. Yes. I
Right.
Yes.
think that's with all of them. I think it's like anytime, even if you don't finish, it's like, I'm gonna try again. Might not be this next year, but I'm gonna keep going until I get there. Because sometimes, yeah, you learn more by the failed races than the ones that not even failed, just the ones you didn't get to the goal. So
Right.
I think those ones actually taught me the most.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you do learn a lot, and especially in those down moments, like you said, is that you get to use your brain. You have to actually figure out what do I do next, and it is what you do next that is either the miracle or the oh God, I'm gonna have to do this again.
Yeah. I
True.
just
Yeah.
didn't know what the like body was capable of until like the first time I hit that my first 50K distance was on a YMCA track. That is the most miserable laps you'll ever make for 7.5 hours. I'm like,
Mhm.
this is this is really brutal. There's no elements. It doesn't like it gave me the like confidence to know I could hit that distance, but I knew in the back of my head, this is a controlled environment.
Yeah.
This is
Yes.
not what it's really gonna be like, so I didn't know what to expect going into a like, the first time I tried to run from my parents' house, to Erickson, I didn't make the distance. I was supposed to run there and back. It would have been 40 miles, and I got there, I hit the 7 miles of hills, and I found out I was dehydrated, and I was like, "I thought I hydrated good enough." Did not, and I didn't wear sunblock, so my center part of my leg was all fried. Um, so that was rough. And then my second attempt at it was I started in Erickson, tackled the hills first, was headed to Chambers, which would have once again been about that 40-mile distance, and,
Hmm.
I I my legs gave out before I got there, and I don't know. It was crazy because like, I did my first, ultra after that, and then I hit, you know, over the distance I had ever done, and I was like, "That's crazy. How did I do it this time?" But I think it was community, to be honest.
Right.
That was the difference. So kinda back to the aid stations and the fun, and it just makes a difference. So,
Right. And with an aid station, it is a booster energy. It's like they have the special stuff. No matter what's in that cup or what's in that quesadilla, there's something special
oh,
inside of
pickle
it.
juice.
Yeah,
Pickle
pickle
juice is my favorite thing, like, ever since I realized that was a thing, pickle juice.
juice.
All right. Sorry, I
Yes.
got sidetracked.
Oh, no, that's okay. This is all about you. So what about the trail markings? Were there any?
There were. I would say it was a 10 because I mean you can't mark everything. But overall the areas that were like caution areas were marked. It kind of kept you going in the right direction for the most part. So yeah, I would give them a 10. They did the best they could because after a while when you start hallucinating, that's when that's when it's like trail markers kind of go out the window because I'm like, wait, where am I? So
Is this one of those races where they had the big word slow and underneath says runners on the road? And when I get out there and I run these things and I see this sign after a while, it says slow runners on the road. And I'm like, I'm not slow. And then I start doubting myself every time I pass that. Was this that kind of race where it just had signs everywhere telling you that you're slow?
I usually take a picture and ask the race director, "What am I doing on this sign?"
Yeah.
I'm usually the third man.
Yeah.
oh man, I want to do one of the races like eventually once I get back to healing and everything after this upcoming surgery and kind of get that strength back because I found out I had an imbalance as we had kind of talked in my quads and my hamstrings. I found out they're not like very strong, so that's why I didn't make my distance or get to the finish on the cowboy. I ended up dropping. But doing the walking backwards and doing the incline and like just all those things, it has it's made a huge difference just in my run and stuff. And I am like, yeah, I'm excited, but I wanna do a race where, it's in the mountains, you have a little more of that challenging terrain, and, I'm scared because of the markers. I guess is where I was going with that. Like, I am terrified that the if I don't see a marker, I'm gonna run into a bear cave or so I don't know. I have these
Okay.
maybe it's a hallucination, I don't know. I've just, I would definitely want pacers probably for that for the first time. And just in general, I've found pacers are just amazing humans.
Mhm.
They
They
keep you going when you don't think you can. But yeah,
lie to
that
you, be lied to,
how
and
do, yeah, how do you guys like when you have those like races where you're not sure of the markers? Like how do you figure out which way to go, or do you just go the wrong way for a little bit and then you get back to the right? Or like I always wondered like what happens. I haven't had races where it's that challenging yet. So,
well, if you have a Garmin, I don't know about it, any of the other ones,
Of
the
course,
Coros.
does it as well.
Usually you have a GPS and it loads onto your watch, and your thing will go
oh yeah,
ding, get off course. But you also need trail markers, so they help as
yes,
well. And a
Yeah.
lot
gotcha.
of places do trail mark very well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's awesome because I would be a very lost person. I watch some podcasts with like people doing I can't remember which one. I think it's a backyard ultra or something, but you have to go find something, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I barely can find I would be like, I think I found the thing. I go back with like some kind of random and I don't know how that works. Or you have to. I was watching something about that, and it made me think of it when I was filling this out with the trail marker, and I was like, how do you know how to get back to the trail, or is it on the trail? But yeah, it's kind of cool
We
the
had a
different options for ultras out there.
yeah, we had a race where we had to. It was it 15 miles out and 15 miles back, but at the 15 mile you have to rip a page out of
You
a
had to
book
prove that you were
Yes,
there.
and right
that's
Yes.
what
back.
it is. I've
Yeah.
seen that. Oh,
Yeah. But
and I'm
they
just
had to pull from a book. So it was, what was the one with the movies out?
50,
And
50 Shades of Grey.
yeah, 50 Shades of Grey. So we pull our book thing and I start reading it and I'm like, no, this is not a kid-friendly
So
race.
wrong.
I got the worst part of the book.
oh man. I
So,
oh,
how
go
about
ahead.
the weather? Do you have a weather thing?
Oh,
Was the weather good or bad?
I would say, man, I was torn. I almost put a 5 and then I ended up on a 6 because
Okay.
it the weather I oh man, I feel like I'm gonna give it away, but I think you already know. So the weather initially was much worse. Actually, I'm not giving it away because there was some bad things on those other ones too. So the weather wasn't bad when I started, but the people before me definitely got the fun part. I would say the weather, the heat, towards the end was the worst. Um, and that's what kind of like I ended up, hey, I've done this is as far as I can go. Um, but yeah, the rain and stuff is not friendly, but it was so nice. The one thing I have to appreciate though is when it rains, it makes it nicer on your feet, just
Yeah.
not when it's gushy and you have to like wade through stuff. So I'm glad that I was not in the initial is starting. Ah, man, I'm not good at this.
So let me
uh,
ask you, were you in your car? You said this was a timed race. So were you camping or in your car? Were you able to get out of the weather or take breaks from the heat?
yes, I was able to. So, if you were close to I mean, there were some points though, where if it was going to do something, you would probably either have to pick up your pace and get to the aid station or to your camping site, or you'd have to just accept that you're going to get pummeled by the weather. And at that point, if it was hot, I mean, maybe it wouldn't feel so bad
Yeah.
until later, and you have wet socks and stuff.
Did you have any pacers or any crew?
I had crew,
Okay.
um, and then I guess he counts as a pacer. Um, I rated that an 8 because I don't wanna give my dad any less than an 8.
Yeah.
Because
That's
in case he sees that, he'd be like, "I'm never pacing again for you." He did help me with some,
Oh, yes.
motivation.
Oh, he has to up his game.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was the furthest he had ever went, so I was very
Oh,
proud of him. Like, he had never I don't think he had ever went that far on a little trek, so I was very proud of him, even though he was ahead of me, so I don't know, I think he was doing pretty good at pacing at that point. I was in a hurting place about then, so I just
so,
kinda
so,
watched.
so he was your crew as well.
Yes. Yep.
Oh,
So what would you give him as a crew?
Uh, there's area for improvement, so I'd probably give him maybe a 7.
Okay.
I didn't
okay.
write that one down, but, I think he didn't know exactly what I needed, so most of the time the
Yeah.
aid stations, and I didn't even know what I needed, to be honest, at times. I was just like, "We are taking 1 mile at a time here," sometimes 5, depending on when I stop back in, but, um, "We're just gonna learn this as we go."
Yeah. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's a learning experience for the crew as well.
Yes, but he did a good job. I
Oh,
didn't know exactly what I needed from him at times, so that
yeah.
like I said, he did his best. I was just thankful he was there. Um, it would have been, I think, if I would have if I wouldn't he always has pushed me through my life. He's always been that person that's been there for me. So um and I mean my mom has too, of course, but uh he's very competitive as well. So he kind of is like, okay, you can do this. You got another lap, but he also knows when to talk me off the ledge. So like when it
Yeah.
got hot, I wanted to continue. He could tell I was experiencing some heat problems. So, he called me off the ledge when I needed it cuz
Right.
I'll keep pushing until I can't push anymore and then I don't always see that danger. So, I would say it kind of helps balance me out when I think I can go on and maybe I need to take a moment. So, I
Yeah.
just appreciate him.
Yeah. And parents crewing, it's a good thing. They know when to give you a hug and just say you're going to be okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were a lot of times during the different races that uh, I needed that. Yeah. I mean, there were times where I just wanted to like break down and I would call him on my phone. I'm like, just talk me through this because I feel very alone in this moment. So he got a lot of those calls during that time. So and so did Luke. Luke got a lot of calls as well. um, he was there to push me through, and both of them did a good job, so I could keep moving forward while having my meltdown. Because I was just like, I don't want to run anymore. I don't want to take another step. I'm
So,
hot and
you know,
exhausted.
I
What it,
do want to take a moment and ask you this, right? So let's talk about Luke. So at that time, I believe he was still your boyfriend, and I'm just curious to what did he think about what you were doing? Was he like, yo, you're crazy, or, why are you doing this to yourself, or I would never do that, or, what was he thinking?
I think he thought it was pretty awesome, actually. I mean, it's not something a normal. Well, I don't think we're abnormal, but it's not something that if somebody says, "Hey, I run," not to pick, and I love doing those like the short 5Ks and stuff, how because they're fun. But if somebody tells you, "Hey, I do that," well, how I started is I said, "Hey, I do this crazy thing, and I need to let you know." That's kind of how I broke the ice, and then
It's
I'm
like
like,
you're very scared and like, oh, okay.
yeah, yeah, I didn't know what he would think at first, so I'm like, I do this crazy thing and I'm trying to hit 100 miles. And this was just a week or two after we had started dating that I told him, "Hey, I have this race, and I had been running these crazy distances. To most people in the area, they were Kelly Means is she's the brainchild that got me into, like, that's how I ended up volunteering at the Cowboy and met both of you guys that year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because she goes, "Come see what it's about." She said, "If you don't want to run fast, but you need that challenge, check this out. Go volunteer, see what you think, get a glimpse into the world." So yeah, then I ended up like reconnecting with Luke, and I told him, "Hey, I do this crazy thing. I want to run 100 miles." And he goes, "That's pretty cool, but you know, I think a person has to wrap their brain around what you're telling them too,
Yes.
because
Mhm.
even me, before I did that first actual ultra race, I was like, how am I going to hit 100 miles? Like, I could not wrap my brain around it at first, but I realized it was just a matter of mind over matter.
Right.
You can keep going until your body either A, stops you, or your mind gives out. And I found out my mind gives out a lot, like, later than my body usually was my first, because I did something that I shouldn't have, or so I was like, okay, I can do this. This is the new hard thing that I need to, like, pull me through kind of I found ultra running when it was a very tough point in my life. I had went through a lot of hard things, and had it not been for, like, running into Kelly Means and meeting you guys and really pushing into this world that I didn't know anything about, like, I don't know. It was just really tough. I had felt kind of lost, and I kind of got found, and this crazy distance that it's like once you hit that new distance, there's always something beyond. There's always a
Yes.
new thing to reach for. And for me, that's what drives me. And I just sorry. Yeah, it's crazy. He's been very supportive. Sometimes he's he probably, like, he doesn't say it, but he's probably like, why would you want to run that far? But no,
Right.
he's been very, very supportive, and it didn't scare him off. So I think
Exactly.
that's a good thing. And just the fact that he even said, "Hey, I'll walk with you, or I'll do the things with you," that meant a lot to me.
Yes.
And crewing me for the Cowboy, him and my dad, none of us probably knew exactly what we were supposed to be doing. And my dad had a little bit of an idea, but just being there was, like, the biggest thing for me. Like, I can troubleshoot. There were times that I had to sit on the trail and um fix my feet the best I could, and just kind of take a minute, but I just knowing that they were waiting at the next aid station for me, like,
Mhm.
that was huge. That was what I needed. Um so yeah, to answer that, like, he I think he's okay with it. He's met a lot of good people. I think he had a lot of really good interactions with some of the runners and other crew. Met a lot of cool people during the Cowboy, so I think he's pretty excited. He's even, like, excited to volunteer again. So, or, he didn't officially volunteer, but he was there helping and stuff. So I think that's like pretty cool that he's interested in it too.
Well, there is a thing, we as runners, we have this thing, right? But the crews also as well, they have their own, like, they're probably doing laughing behind our backs, right? But they have their own their group. I've heard them, they do that. But it's their way of coping, because they have to look at us and see the pain we're in. And so it
Yep.
is a shock. So they have their own little thing. So
Yeah, and it's
yeah,
hard to, like, when it's your loved one that's doing the crew, they're gonna be like, "I don't wanna see you suffer anymore." Um,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know, during Cowboy, he walked me off the trail, and before that, I was sitting there, like, I kept trying to move, but my leg just wasn't going. It dropped, well, a few, like, I think it was, like, maybe a mile back before that, or a half mile maybe, I, like, it put me on the ground, like, that's where I was, like, it just my leg gave out, and I was like, "Ah, that sucks." So then I got up, didn't call anybody right away, kept going. And then I realized, man, you are at the back of the pack, Monique, here. Like, I like to be kind of in the middle area, so I know there's humans behind and in front of me.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like my ideal space. um, but I was like, there's nobody coming. There's nobody coming and everybody's moving further away. And I knew I was in pain, but I sat there on the cowboy trail after I talked to Kenny, and I was like, I'm just gonna sit here and cry. And then he came and walked me off the trail because I was afraid there were snakes in the grass. That was part of the reason, but also I didn't want to leave, but I knew I wasn't gonna make it to the end. So
Right.
yeah, it that kind of support is something that's irreplaceable, and
Right.
I can't appreciate him enough for that.
Right.
So
Yeah. So, did you have any blistering, chafing, gut problems, things that we don't talk about, things that we should talk about?
after 20 years in healthcare, there are no untouchable subjects.
Okay.
Uh, no, I
How
had
about on your
so
person?
untouchable. Uh, so I have a spot under my toes. So it's like right, you know, where your toes connect to your foot. That
Hmm.
spot always gets a blister every time, and it's on my right foot. Um, and I had one of the aid station individuals wrap my feet. But what I learned is what I should have done is had them wrapped or kind of pre-prepared before I started my race. So I went into, I think it was probably mile, it was like 50 or 60 when I started having the blister um, form. So I knew that I needed to do something, but I didn't know what to do with it, which was the problem because I didn't want to pop it because it was right underneath my toes and I knew that it like the sweat and the grime and I didn't know if I should drain
Yeah.
it. Like I was very so I at first I had stuck band-aids on it that I had brought with my my lovely shopping knowledge of not what not to, I bought like all sorts of band-aids and I wasn't sure what to buy, which I probably should have asked. I just knew moleskin. I remembered from uh, volunteering from the cowboy at the aid stations. I remember seeing moleskin and band-aids of different kinds. And so that's what I went with. And I tried to patch it and fix it. And I was just making it worse. So then I asked for some help because I was I was struggling. So that was my one big thing that happened during this race. And then I would say socks. Um, I had enough socks, thank heavens, but, eh, with the morning dew, it was just wet, and
Yes.
Yeah.
your feet would get irritated, and your shoes were wet, so, like, changing out my shoes was huge, but also you only have so many pairs of shoes, I found, or at least I did, um, so I had to, like, let one pair kinda dry, and then my dad would get me the new pair. Um, let's see, blisters and chafing. I did not have any chafing problems, but I also wore longer shorts because I
Mm.
know that what I learned in my training runs and different like preparing up to just running, my thighs like to they hit every time. So as long as I have like biker short length or longer, I do pretty good or just leggings. Um I just can't wear things where my legs can contact each other.
Yeah.
um Yeah, I would say the heat, like the prickly heat, I did get a little of that. I don't know, we called it prickly heat when I was in the army. Um, like when you feel like it's almost like pins and needles. So that
Yes.
last day, that was kinda hard. So it was like a prickly, it felt like it right like in my bra area. So in the waistband. So that would have been
Yeah.
the only things that I remember.
Or it could have been chiggers.
That could have been too. I can't say it. The mosquitoes. I feel like I've already said it. I hate mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are
Me
the
too.
worst.
I think you would be hard pressed to find anyone that loves mosquitoes.
Yeah. I don't,
That's so
I
bad.
have not heard one person say, "Are there mosquitoes at this race? Count me, I'm in." Not one said no runner
Oh,
ever.
I don't think I could have applied enough off. Like if I would have just carried the off can with me and squirted it, but then I would have got in my eyes or something. Something awful would have happened with that.
Yeah.
But it was, oh, that was bad. What did I rate this? Oh, shoot. I didn't even, so Pacers I gave it 8, and then blisters and chafing I gave a 3 because
Okay.
those blisters were rough. They could have been worse, but they were rough.
Okay, so let's talk about your trail nap comfort. So it goes two ways with me. When I think about it, it's did you lay down and take a nap? Or B, did you take a fall? You can choose one or both, and you know, did you fall?
I did not fall,
Oh,
surprisingly.
Okay.
Um,
did you take any trail nap?
I I I did, I did take some naps. I also took your advice about elevating my feet.
Hmm.
So while I was napping, I just elevated my feet up on the cooler. So that kind of gave me that little extra edge when I got back up. I felt a lot better.
Yeah.
So what would you
So
rate
I would
that?
say a 6. Yeah, I would say a 6.
Okay.
How about your mental state?
Uh, it depends on when you asked me during the race. Um,
Yeah.
uh, I rated it an 8, so it wasn't like great, but I think I went into it with this is a hard thing you're gonna do, and don't have any expectations of what's gonna happen. So I went in with a goal of trying to hit that 100 miles, but at the same time, I wasn't disappointed with how it ended. I mean, part of me wanted to like, man, I should have kept going. I could have maybe hit. Like, I get some of those, but I had to give myself a little grace and recognize
Yes.
that I had went further than I had ever went before. So, yeah, I would say my mental state was pretty good. Now, during my lows, I I don't think is like, "Oh my god, I want animals to eat my carcass," an option because I got to that point. There was a point where I just wanted to lay down, and I'm like, "Nope, not
Yeah.
gonna," but I was afraid if I laid down, I wouldn't get back up. So, like, that was it was a roller coaster. That should be an option, I think. You gotta
Roller
put,
co-
like, one of the options, like, roller coaster.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. We can probably do that.
Okay, can we add roller coaster to the list?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say that's
Yeah.
probably a five. A five. That's like you're going between extremely positive to extreme negative.
Right? And then sometimes you were in between and there might be like a zombie state possibly,
Yeah,
or just
they
a,
are.
"What am I doing here? But I'm here, but I keep moving for some reason." So,
Yeah.
no, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it
how
was very
about
good.
hallucinations? Did you have any hallucinations? Like, you had to have. That's a
Yes.
long time.
Oh, you did?
Yes. I put it
Oh.
a 3 because it could have been worse, but, so it was during the nighttime, and, I thought there was a Slender Man. So I don't know how many people watch scary movies or whatever, but they
Oh.
have that Slender Man thing, and it was in the field just looking at me, like, it would be walking around, and you'd see its, like, arms and legs moving, and I'm like I'm like, "Do you see that?" Because I was on the phone with Luke at the time, and I'm like, "Do you see it?" And he's like, "I can't see anything. I'm on the phone with you." And I'm like, "Do you see it?" And then, like, anything that would rustle, I thought it was either gonna be a badger or a snake, and I don't know if I was hallucinate because it was during the same time, so I don't know if it's a hallucination or maybe I really was in danger of running into one of these critters, but, it didn't the hallucinations, I didn't really, have any during, oh, man, I'm gonna give it a I'm trying to think here. I didn't have so many when there were people around. I'm trying to be all ominous, but I'm not very good at that. I didn't have any when there was people around per se, because I kind of was like, "Ooh, there's a human." Maybe they were hallucinations too, but I don't think so. It was just mainly when it was very poorly lit areas. and I only had my headlamp, and I just couldn't, and there was the uneven terrain, and that
Mm.
kind of would throw me into that, "Oh gosh, there's something out here with me." Um, but it wasn't near as bad as what I thought it was gonna be, I guess, but it was still pretty bad. That darn I was like, I was hoping I would see, like, something happy, but apparently hallucinations aren't always happy.
They're not always
No,
happy.
not at all.
I mean, yeah, I've had one to where it was a very cold race. It was snowing, and I saw a family of five holding Wendy's bags out like this, and I could smell them. That was a terrible hallucination because I could never get close enough, and I was working it out in my head. How am I going to steal this food? Because that food smells good. I didn't care that they were in shorts and it was snowing and that they were barefoot. I wanted to steal their food, and they weren't there.
Yeah.
I shouldn't laugh at that, but oh man. Oh, that would have been I would have been like, "Oh, I'm gonna take your food, and then I'm gonna run away from you, and then you're gonna feel." I don't know, I might have, like, a thought about it after. Oh, man.
Yeah. So how about the race versus the description? So we all know RDs lie, or maybe we don't want to use the word lie. How about
Embellish.
embellish? They embellish on some things. So was the race description, or did you even read the race description? Some people I find do not read the race description.
I read it, but
Wait, with the
I
look
didn't
on your
know
face,
what to
I
expect.
read
I I mean, I read it, but I don't know, I was just like, I think part of me was I decided I was so excited to do it that I didn't really register what it was about. So what I did is I read the description, but I'm more of like, "Hey, tell me about your experience at this race." So I actually contacted Kelly Means, and she kind of gave me like,
She can lie to you too. She's an RD.
"Oh, yeah, she might have.
Yeah,
She
she might
might
have.
have."
Yeah.
She told me, but she did tell me everything after 30 miles feels the same, and she was correct on that. Like, there's really nothing that you're gonna hurt, you're gonna feel great, everything is gonna be the same pretty much. Once you get to 30 miles, you just keep going, is what she told me. But yeah, she told me it was a it was a good race to get my feet wet, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah. And
Okay.
by the way, we love Kelly Mean, so she's good
Yes.
people. All
We are
right. So
picking on you.
yeah, we're just gonna pick on you, and
Oh,
what?
so speaking of Kelly, I was doing a training run before Cowboy. I think it was before Cowboy. Yeah, it was. And I ran up to the Y and she was there and she gave me pizza. And so I ate a slice of pizza and then I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna have another slice of pizza before I continue running some more because I was on a long run that day. And she called me later and she goes, "How'd your run go?" I said, "I should have only ate one slice of pizza. Didn't like my belly. Like, 1 slice, I might have been good, 2 was not a good choice." So, that was, we have me and her have quite a few, great training running stories just because, like I said, she was kinda that person that got me into, I guess, the ultra running world. I didn't even know that was a thing until, she's like, "Have you ever heard of ultra running?" And then, another friend of mine that does, like she does 5Ks, marathons, stuff like that, and she goes, "You might like ultra running. Have you ever heard of the cow?" And that's how the Cowboy 100, Cowboy 200. I was like, "Oh, I don't know anything about this, but I would like to." So yeah, they kind of they were the how I ended up where I'm at. So
They led you
good
astray.
good
Yes.
people. They did. They did kind of push me. They're like, "You have the same kind of weird drive to like be in pain, so we're gonna show you something that
Yeah.
is awesome and painful all at the same time."
That's how
So
it is. So what
yes.
would you give that? The race versus description.
I would say a 10 just because I enjoyed it. And now they did not disclose the rattlesnake possibilities. I feel like that is a necessary thing. You tell people there could be a rattlesnake. Maybe they
I
did, and I
always
didn't
have
read it.
I was always told rattlesnakes don't go into Kansas.
You don't know if there's races in Kansas.
Yeah, I know. I just was mentioning that they don't
Right.
go into Kansas. I
But
know
we have
she's
seen,
from Nebraska, so I was going to finish my question with, are they in Nebraska?
Yes, so they are actually close to the Ainsworth Valentine area.
hmm,
Even I think there were some when I used to mow hay when we were kids, we worked near Newport, so that's right along the Cowboy Trail route. Um, but they would have like dens that they would have to like exterminate. I don't know exactly how that works, but so yeah, they had rattlesnake. There are rattlesnakes in Nebraska. I've only seen one once maybe, and I think it was when we were mowing hay, and all I heard was a rattle, and maybe it was a bull snake. I did not go check. I I was like, I'm staying on the tractor, and I'm not going to check. So, yeah, they have them a little bit throughout the Midwest, but I think there's different types or, like, species, or I'm not sure how the snake snake categorization can't say the word, cata categories, you know?
Categories. Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, I can't think of
Yeah.
what they're called.
Yeah.
Classification of snakes?
Big,
I don't
bigger, and biggest. I don't know.
I I am not a fan of snakes, so that would be a big disclosure that I would like. So maybe I need to give them a 9.
Okay,
Yeah, we're
change
gonna have
that.
to change that to, like, a 9 because I don't know if they told me about the snakes. But other than
Okay, so
that, it
there's
was
a
great.
new question. You ready for the new question? So we added swag, medal, and buckles. How would you rate that? How would you rate the swag? The if they gave you a T-shirt or maybe
Yeah.
whatever your a finisher, buckle or
Jacket.
jacket. Do you receive anything like that? And what would you give it?
Yes, I would give it a 10.
A 10?
Okay.
What did you receive?
I got I got a finisher buckle because I even though I got over the 100K distance, I got that 100K buckle. Um, I got a little wood um first female for the 48, and then a bottle of whiskey, which I think, or maybe it was some kind of alcohol, but at that point I was like, I think they're giving this to me for my pain and suffering. So,
That would have been nice.
um,
That would have
I
been
did
nice.
try it. I found out that I'm not I don't know if it was a bourbon or what it was, but I'm just not apparently I can't make it go down. So, I just am like, "Oop, this is hot. I don't know if I can drink this, but it's okay. It's been shared with love to others."
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah.
Okay.
let's see what your score is.
Okay, so your experience score, your personal experience, is a 7.5
Wow,
out of 10. That's not bad at all.
that's really good.
That's
Mhm.
awesome. And your overall UTI score is 0.573, which I think is probably in the lower half of what we've had so far. But that's because you picked a cheap race. You should
So
have picked
you
a more expensive
you
race.
got to pick a more expensive race.
I tell everyone that.
He told
I
me I
just
needed
had
to
the most
know.
experiences during this one. I mean, well, the other one was more like a learning curve of, hey, I would say point to points are a lot harder. Um,
They are.
and like you have more distance, more like there's not that guarantee to that person being there.
Yeah,
Um, like,
And it's
I mean,
lonely.
you know they're there, but you have to get
Yeah.
there. The
Yeah.
there
yeah,
is a lot further sometimes. So.
And it can be very, very lonely on those point to points.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
yes.
I didn't realize how hard and it was a real toss up. I almost picked the other one I was thinking of, so but yeah, I was like, I could have thrown a real curveball and like been like given one of those oddballs I self-motivated, but that didn't count. So well it counted, but not for like you wouldn't have guessed those.
I think we know which one it is.
Yeah, so before we guess, is there anything else you want us to know about this race? Was it a looped race? Do you want to tell us about that? What?
It was a looped race. I kind of like those. I really like the time races. I think it really gives you an idea of how to. I felt like I learned how to troubleshoot, and it gave me that opportunity to learn. Um, so I
How
liked
long was
that,
the
and
leap?
then I also liked knowing somebody was like, I'm almost to that aid station
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. So how long was the loop?
Ooh, I think it was there were two. So one
Mhm.
was 4.1 or 2 and then 3.1, I think, if I was correct. I could be
Mm.
wrong on that. I don't know. I just kept going in circles until I couldn't anymore.
Well, I think we can guess what
I
race this
think I
is.
only know one race with a 3.1 and a 4.2.
I only know one race that is
Yeah,
evil,
it has to be the
and
sticks.
it has to be the Sticks 48.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it was the Sticks 48. I kind of knew you guys knew. Oh, so in the pictures I sent you, I took a picture of the side of your truck where it says Chuck Norris was here. I don't know when I did. I can't tell you when I did, but I did. So I sent it because I thought, like, I don't know why it made me laugh in that moment of pain, but I was like, this is great.
Well, you were
And I kept
giggling a lot.
going.
So, with this race, we actually camped next to each other. And so I know that when you were in your tent and your feet were up, when you were sleeping, you started giggling in your sleep. And I went over to your tent to talk to you, and you just were giggling away. And you were, I thought maybe you were on your phone. I didn't know what you were doing. But no, you were asleep. And you were laughing in your sleep. But there was a lot of joy on your face. I did see you suffer, but you were having so much fun out there. And I know that you were on the phone with your honey, so he was making you happy. And I
Yeah.
know that Renee kept bothering you and saying, "Well, he's not on Ultra Sign Up," because you know what? When you told him, first thing he did is went to Ultra Sign Up.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
is this a real person?
treating you like a daughter.
If you're not an ultra sign up, you don't exist.
Yep. So yeah, so it was a three, and then it was a little over a four. The second one was a gravel road, and I believe we were allowed to go on the gravel road
No,
every 6 hours.
every 6 hours.
Every
Yeah.
6 hours.
Yep. It was like
And
10 and
that's
4, 10 and
Yeah,
something.
yeah. So
and
you
that's
would,
where I had my hallucinations.
yeah.
Everything
Oh,
looked
on the
like, yeah,
gravel?
yeah, on the gravel road. I kept saying, "Oh, someone smashed a sign there," and I had to go over and see what was written on the sign, and then it was just dead bushes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We
Yeah,
got
I
stuck out
I thought
there.
I hallucinated a dog, but there really was a dog, and he followed me for a little while.
Well, where you were seeing the Slender Man, I was seeing the Walking Dead, and I
Maybe
was
they're
just
in cahoots.
Yeah. And I mean, it's like, why are you following me? I mean, you're going to try to eat me? I didn't know what was going on, what the protocol was for this hallucination. There was no rhyme or reason. And then I saw the eyes, and I'm like, oh no, this is it. And there were two cows out there. Did you see the cows with the red eyes? Yeah, just
Yeah.
standing at the fence, looking at you like, why are y'all just running?
I
Yeah.
switched to a chest light because I can't have I what I learned when I was training, because that would have been my uh first official ultra race. And when I was training, I would do some night runs. I'd wake up at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and go run for like till basically I had to go to work or whatever. And I would have a headlamp on. And what I learned is and I did have to use my headlamp, I think, for a short period on the sticks, which was kind of challenging because I just tried not to look to the sides.
Right.
um, but I had switched to a chest lamp because if I seen those eyes, it freaked me out. Whether it was a hallucination or not, I'm like, there is an animal, it's gonna eat me. I don't want to like have anything coming at me. So I would run around the lake and things like that, and I would see all these eyes staring at me during training runs. And I recognized in that moment that if I have a headlamp on, I can't. I just, I mean, maybe it made me run faster. I don't know, or kept me going, but I just, I was very skittish because I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
something's coming out.
I think
Yeah.
one of the things with headlamps is that you don't have the shape of whatever you're looking at.
Yes,
you, you,
that is
you
true.
um, so that's why I'm very excited because I ordered a waist lamp.
Yeah.
So hopefully I will get a much better idea about what I'm running on
Yeah.
and
So-
actually
Mosquitoes will
see
be
the rocks.
attracted.
Oh yeah, the
Oh
mosquito.
yeah, they don't hit you in the face as bad, I noticed. Like
Yeah.
when it's on your waist, they're not so, because that was honestly, that was probably the worst part. That little bit of time where the mosquitoes were so bad that they were just eating us alive.
Yeah,
And why I didn't want to like go on the road loop, that one, there was one, I think it was still during that time frame where the mosquitoes were so bad and I just did not want to go on the road loop because the surface had hardened. When I first started, the road was nice because I would make it back in time to get another loop in. And I did that for basically until the ground got so hard that my feet just were, they
Yeah.
almost, when I was on the pasture, I wanted to be on the road. When I was on the road, I wanted to be on the pasture. Like it was just a love hate with the
Yeah.
surface.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
I remember that.
I
And what
remember
you were
that there
talking about,
was
oh, go ahead.
the mosquitoes at night. I was running there in the dark, and it sounded like someone was flying a drone, but it was really just a big cloud of
The
mosquitoes.
mosquitoes,
And you
yes.
run straight into them.
Yeah, and those
oh,
were
if you have your
vegetables.
mouth open,
Yes.
Yes.
I guess it's extra protein. I mean, in a sense.
No, no,
Oh,
no. There's no protein in those things. Mm-mm.
no.
I don't
You're
know.
just drinking everybody else's blood. I had
I
Oh,
guess
so many.
vampires is what we need to watch out for next time.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
so by the back of my neck got eaten a lot because you had to have air under your clothes. It was hot, so we were all throwing on as much clothes as we could get to save ourselves from the mosquitoes, and
yep.
Yeah, it
there's
was.
no amount of off that would have stopped that.
Mm-mm. No, and
But
I like it was hot, so I always had to switch out to shorts or something, and then they would eat my legs, and if I kept a decent pace, I was fine, but well, sort of
No,
fine.
no,
Less mosquitoes would get me. They
yeah,
would not, but I was, I don't know. There was really no correcting that.
no,
no,
no.
And there's no way to keep them off of you, but that was
no.
probably the hardest part of that. I know, when I turned in my tracker and, Chase, he looks at me, he goes, "Congratulations," because I guess, I had got first in female, and I go, "For surviving?" And that was my first question. Because I was just like, I remember Katie, she was on the last loop and she said, "You were ahead of me." And she said, "I just kept trying to get closer, but you kept getting further away." And there I was. I didn't think I was moving very fast at all because I was like, one more step, just one more step. And I was just having this conversation. So finally, Katie caught up with me and she's like, I was so happy to see another person. So we finished out together, which was great. But had she not come out, that would have been the last, I think, like 2 miles would have just, it felt like an eternity.
It is. It's
And we,
heartbreaking out there. It
yeah.
breaks literally. You can see people. It's in a it's in a farm field, for one thing. That's when you hear the sticks. There's like sticks regrowing under your feet, and you can see
Mhm.
people from across the hill all over. You see them, but you're
Well,
nowhere near them.
when you say it's on a pasture, it
If yeah,
sounds nice. It sounds nice and
it's
soft, right?
not.
You think grass. No, this
Oh,
is this,
It's
this is torture.
heartbreaking.
It's torture on your feet.
And your feet are like slanted the whole time. So yeah, it's a heartbreaking thing. And I saw you. You were trudging. I mean, I've never seen somebody like. I wanted to yell at you. Would you like some fries with that shake? But I don't think that would have been the appropriate thing to say because you were just
When
like.
had that stopped you?
But she was like trudging through that. She was like angry walking with a smile on her face. I didn't know what to say. She was like smiling like haha, and but her angry walk, I mean, I could hear her in the rain. Yeah.
it's so funny you mentioned that. So, I smile a lot, like almost guaranteed while I run. I can be in pain, I can be in, and I just smile while I run. I've caught a few bugs doing this. That's why I mentioned the mosquitoes. But it's just one of those weird things because like people, I've had random strangers come up, to me when I started into this ultra world, and they're like, "Hey, you're that gal that smiles and runs really far," because they still can't like, and I'm like, I know people that run further than I've ever ran, and they're just like, it's really neat to see like people are just so fascinated with this unknown. And I think
Right.
that's why it fascinates me, because that 100 miles is still unknown to me. Um I almost got there, and next year I'll be doing the sticks, but this year I did pull my I pulled I pulled my race for this year at the sticks, just because I have a surgery coming up. Also, I'm still
Yeah.
recovering from the cowboy, which actually the sticks was probably a really great race, as Kelly told me to start into,
Mm-hmm.
because of I am very quad strong right now, so I'm working on strengthening the hamstring. The cowboy, it's I mean, you are pounding those hamstrings the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, it just really gave me a new perspective, as far as this was a really good the Sticks was a really good race to get into it, see what I was capable of, troubleshoot all the things, and, it kind of, it was really a great experience. Like, I absolutely loved every minute of well, there were times there were times I didn't love it, but, overall, like, you kind of forget those hard times, though. I mean,
You
you
do.
do and you don't. Like, as soon as I recovered, about 2 days later, 3 days later, I think I was, the first person to register for the next year. Um,
You were.
but yep, then I pulled my race. It was a hard decision, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go have fun. It will be my 37th birthday, so my goal, if my arm is healed, I want to I mean, it should be. It only takes about 6 weeks after surgery, and then I can get back at it. But, yeah, I just wanna hit 37 miles. That's
Yeah.
that's my personal goal, even though I'm not a participant. I would like to pace
12
for
miles a
for
day.
that.
Yeah,
So,
12
Yeah.
miles a day. That's
What's
what,
that? 12
4
loops?
loops a day?
Yeah.
yep, yeah,
Yeah.
I think
You,
it's
That,
doable.
you-
It's a reasonable goal without re-injuring, 'cause, that
right.
was the biggest thing, is I didn't wanna go in unprepared. Because I think going into the cowboy, I was a little unprepared, so that kinda you learn you learn a lot from the ones you don't finish, or when
Yeah.
you don't meet that goal. But my goal for 20 let's see, it'd be 2026 is to hit that 100 miles at the Sticks, so that's I just gotta get prepared for it and try
yeah.
to push through,
I
so,
Well, I
think
still have something for you for the day you do, and I'm hoping that I'll be there. So,
yes. If not, well, I'll have to, like, be like, "I'm coming to visit, guys."
I want my necklace.
Yeah, yep.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think the cowboy is deceptive because
it
they
is.
they say, oh, it's flat,
Mhm.
but that's not the hard part. The hard part is the weather.
Oh, it hailed so bad. Like, after I had dropped, we were headed back, and I think we stopped just before where you and, you guys hadn't got to the aid station, so we waited there for a little bit, but, then the weather is supposed to get kinda rough, so we had to head out, because we were waiting so Luke could have met you. But he'll meet you here in June, so, but yeah, so we, like, got back in the car, took down the highway, and it started hailing so bad,
Mm.
and there's just no shelter at
Yeah.
all. Like,
There's nothing.
eh, it's
It
just you.
caused us to run really fast. We got out of 100 miles, and I think it was like at mile 110, we could just see something building way out there. And it's deceptive. You don't know what you're looking at or if it's going which way it's going because
Yep.
by this time you've been up for so long.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm like, this storm is going to hit us, going to have a tornado in it, and we're going to end up somewhere else. So we started
In
running
Kansas.
Yeah.
in Kansas,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, we could see the storm and we could see everything going on underneath, but thankfully we missed it.
Yeah. I think we outrun it.
I think we outrun it,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
I think a couple people got hit. There was a time at the Sticks too where the, like, storm clouds were picking up, and I think I did get sprinkled on a little bit, maybe a little bit of ra but nothing, like, major.
Oh,
Not like
yeah,
the
you weren't
first
there the
day.
night. Yeah.
yeah.
I know. That's what I was thinking though the whole time I was out there. I was like, oh gosh, here it comes."
Yep. I remember that Rachel Baker's tent got blown over with them in it. And then there was another guy who lost everything and it went off into the field and he could never find it all.
Yeah.
And we got hailed on at that race.
All
And
our clothes got wet.
yeah, all of our
Oh
clothes,
man.
everything in our tent got wet.
Yeah.
Yep. But
Oh,
you
I
know
didn't
what?
realize that because I would have got there just after
Yeah.
you that it all happened. But
Mhm.
man, the whole time when I seen it coming in though, I was like, man, it'd be nice if that road loop was like not as hard. So I was like, can you just sprinkle enough where it's like
Yeah.
soft again? But I know the last uh road loop that I think I did, no, it wasn't the last one. It was like mile 70, I think. Um Michael, Christensen was
Hmm.
running, and I ran with him. I stuck with him the whole time, and then about a mile out, I think about a mile out, on the second road loop, because we got back with about 10, 15 minutes to spare, and then we headed back out, and I'm like, "I can do" nope. I was walking after that, like, second or that first mile back out. I just
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
he was like a 10-minute pace the whole way around, and he's like at mile 170 or something
Yeah.
crazy like that, and I'm
He had a
like,
therapy cat. Did you know that?
"What's
You
that?"
see his wife with his cat there out walking the cat. So he had a
Oh,
therapy cat.
I coulda used his therapy cat
I
after that.
know. She was
I was
like,
just like,
no.
"How are you not tired?" I'm like but I felt pretty good, like, it was really great to have another runner.
Yeah.
Justin was also I call him Hercules because he was dressed like Hercules, but,
Yeah.
Justin, he helped me pace several if he was near or in the area, I tried to keep up with whoever was there. You guys, I know I I know Lisa Maria was, like, yelling at she's like, "Hey, keep going, you got this." Like, and you weren't even in the same area as me, but just that little, like, you and Renee, like, coming and saying, "Hey, keep going," and we're not even in the same area, we're just kinda passing on that
Yeah.
pasture loop, and then we did start out, I think one of the road loops maybe in the same area or some I can't remember, it all kinda blurred together after a while, but, yeah, that was having those people, like, just pick you up when you were
Hmm.
hurting, that was the biggest part, uh, and I know there's hundreds of other people that probably motivated me in some fashion, whether it was, somebody from back home or I
Yeah.
Yeah,
just it's like it's a community thing, that's for
it
sure.
is. It's a
Yeah.
love. It's we are all families. Like I tell you, Grasshopper is you're part of my family, and this is where
I
she got her nickname. Is Grasshopper is from this race.
I did you know what? There was that hill, and I would run down it, like, I just let gravity take over, and I was
Hmm.
just run, 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 and then I struggle up the other side, and then I would run down.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what when you started calling me it, because you see me like, "Do, do, do," I was just hopping down the hill and then up the other side. I would say, like, I was a cross between grasshopper and, like, maybe, like, a snail or something, that other side, and then I seen, um, oh my gosh, I can't remember who it was, but they were just trucking up that hill like it was nothing, and I'm like, "Can I just, like, hang on you somehow to get up?" But, yeah, it was
That,
pretty
that
great
hill
watching
is
everybody.
that hill is terrible
It's called Ken's Hill. So
because
he's
it is.
making a sign this year.
Yeah. I'm
Gonna bring it
gonna.
out there.
Oh,
It's gonna say Kenny.
that would be fantastic. I
It's gonna.
heard it was quite the swim at the bottom that first night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you were just
Was.
wading through the mud and the everything, so
Yeah, and of course you weren't there whenever the race started. They found a rattlesnake there. And after they had told me that no, yeah, there's no rattlesnakes in Kansas. That's what I've been told. There's none. They stop and they go around to Nebraska. That's what they told me. And so, that right there under the race description, yeah, that would be bringing it lower for me. So, yeah. So
may encounter
Jacqueline and,
wildlife.
yeah, Jacqueline and Joey wanted to play with it.
yeah, they wanted to play with it, but
Yeah.
yes.
No,
Yes,
we
they
don't
wanted
we
to play
don't
with
touch the wildlife is okay to look at, but we do
it.
not interact with the wildlife unless it was
Well,
that dog.
I
That
think
dog was pretty nice.
I
Yeah.
think it was because Kim wanted to chop the head off the rattlesnake, and Joey and Jacqueline wanted to set it free.
So
So
that's
they
what they
just
did.
moved it to the bushes, and Kim was just shaking her head, saying, "No, you can't just put it in there. It's just gonna come back."
Yep.
Well, it made me worried because like that first, because I heard I had been running for a little bit at that point, I think, or I just started or something. They're like, "Did you know about the rattlesnake?" And I'm like, "Wait, what?" And all I could think of during the night that I was hallucinating was, what if I step in a snake? I don't know if they're like, are they nocturnal? Are they, I mean, I think they might hunt at night, but I don't want to be their food of
Yeah.
choice. So
Yeah.
yeah, I was not a fan of snakes, just in general. Like I was doing a training run along the cowboy trail, and I ran into a snake, and it was just a garter snake. And I did this whole like jump over the snake, like
Yeah.
screaming and hollering, and it was a whole scene. So
I wish I could have seen that. Next time, film this, all right? Please.
right, I,
Yeah.
I probably would have lost my phone in the process, but I'm like, it's somewhere out there. But yeah. Oh, I'm sure you'll see it because the more runs I do, the more chances of snakes encounters I'm
Yep.
going to come into. I know there's been several races people have told me about where like you encounter lots of snakes, and I'm just not looking. That's the only thing I'm really not looking forward to is just snakes. Not a fan.
You learn to tune it out. After a while, you're just like, oh, okay, it's got a rattle.
I learned when I was a kid that snakes generally will be warned by the vibrations of your footfall, and they
So
will
just be loud.
try to stay away from you.
That would work. I will just
So
you'll see me doing the angry walk
Yeah.
more.
just tell yourself that, and cross your fingers and believe that the snakes are not gonna hunt you.
Hope not. I hope not. They're like they're like, "Man, she looks like a really good food." I'm like, "Nope." Yeah, I'm not a fan of snakes. I told, I think it was when I was carrying, my trekking pole, I was like, "If I don't come back, I need to like put or if I don't come back with the trekking pole, I need to have on please return and have like my return address or phone number or something, probably through at something that was attacking her or I thought was attacking me." So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I
Wow.
really appreciate you guys.
We appreciate you and, lots of love
Can't
coming
wait
your
to see you
way.
at the sticks.
Yes.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm excited. No matter what condition I'm in, I will be there.
We would love to
I
have you back on after your 100th. So, matter of fact, you know that we'll be there to help pace you if you ask at the Cowboy when you on your return. And I mean, it'd be a joy just to be there at the end and
Yeah.
watch those
Still
crybaby tears. That's it. Yeah.
drink your
yeah.
beer.
Drink your beer.
Oh, I like now the beer I would have been okay. I can't handle the strong stuff apparently. Now, if I would have tried it right after, I think I would have been fine because at that point I
Yeah.
needed it. I
Yeah.
tried it like a few days after and I was just like, yeah. I've
Yeah.
just never
I won
yeah.
mine and gave it to him. So,
Oh, well, shoot, if I have any left, like I do, I'm like, "Hey, you guys should try this. This is like this is my pain and suffering in a bottle here."
yeah.
So,
Suffering
yeah,
too.
no, it's real good. It was, uh, Luke tried it too, so I mean, I think he enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
I was just, it was a little strong for me, but
But it
it
was a
was good.
great swag. It really was for, first
Yeah,
was to get something that
Yeah.
nobody else would get, or you have to go to the store and buy. You don't have to buy.
right.
You can just sit
Yeah, no,
there.
I was excited. They always put on a good race though. Like well, I did the cowboy and then the sticks and I yeah, I love like just the environment that they create is it it's something you don't get just anywhere. So I that's the thing that I love is like the environment and that
Yeah.
was even more meaningful than the swag stuff is just you can't have a better race than what I experienced there. Like they're awesome. They're and Kenny to talk me off the ledge on the cowboy when he's like, I've told, or he told, what he told me as he goes, I've had this conversation, with Chase before, like, sometimes you got to know when to call it,
Yeah,
you
that's
Mm-hmm.
know,
true.
you got to know. And he said, it's hard to walk away,
Yeah.
but you're going to come back better and you're going to come back stronger. So that's what Kenny told me. And just
Yeah,
that support, like, you there's
Yeah.
no amount of anything that can be more than that. Like, it's just you can't put a dollar value on it, I
No.
guess. So
no,
Just don't
pretty
exactly.
listen
cool.
to his weather forecast because they
No,
are inaccurate. He does not have a degree in weather. It could be raining. He's going to tell you it's sunshiny. It is not correct. It's actually raining. So,
It's reverse psychology.
yeah.
yeah. Just
But
whatever he
no.
says, just expect the
Yep.
opposite.
But thank you so much for coming
Yes.
on.
Yeah,
And
thank
Thank
you.
you
again,
for
I look
having
forward to
me.
having you again at some point. And
Yeah, when she gets her first 100,
yep, and I will
we'll
give
be
you your
back.
necklace.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes. I will get there. I will get there.
You will.
awesome.
All
All right.
right. Well, you
You have
take
a great
care.
night.
Love you guys.
Love
You
you.
too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.